Welcome back, everybody. Let's talk a little sports. Now, listen, we all got excited a few weeks ago. We filled out our brackets. Then we all got crushed, whether it was by Missouri or somebody else. Everybody's got thrown out the window. Well, most everybody's pretty soon. Well, they come to a close tonight, as it does, in the first Monday of every April here. And Kansas and Kentucky are going to be fighting for college supremacy tonight. Kentucky, the heavy favorite here with an unbelievable collection of freshmen leading the way. Well, that said, as soon as the game's over, get ready to see at least 3 or 4 of them say, hello and goodbye, I'm going to the NBA next year. God bless them for it. But guys, I got to ask you, I heard today an interview with somebody who follows college basketball, and they said this season, not so much the tournament, was, if not unwatchable because of the quality of play, the disinterest, the lack of fans in the stands. College basketball's got a real problem here. And while I'm not going to take this approach, you got to force the kids to stay there for 3 or 4 years, do we at least acknowledge that college basketball, maybe from a generation ago to now, it's a shadow of its old self?
It's horrible, and it's sinking for the reason you just said. When Jay Billis, the announcer for ESPN, is more popular than just about any player in the game, fans can't relate. So when you have these kids going to Kentucky, and they have every right to do it, and they're in class the first semester, they started this semester, starting tomorrow morning, the Kentucky players who are going to NBA draft after 6 months of school will never see another classroom. And that's unfortunate. I mean, that's their decision. They'll go make a lot of money, but for his fans, there's nothing for us to relate to anymore. And the ratings for college basketball have dropped off through the floor, and it's going to continue as long as we have these one and done student athletes.
Is it really that much different from pro teams that have their lineups change one year to another?
You know why I think it's different, Andrew?
It's a team
we were talking before, and around here, St. John's is the closest thing that you can have to a team you love. You used to be able to name, without being a huge fan, the starting 5 of them. Chris Mullin was there for 4 years.
Old. That's
no,
what that's about.
but Patrick Ewing was there for as long.
You're getting old.
Oh, you're killing me. But my point is, look at St. John's this year. Their best player, I'm not going to bore everybody, he leaves after 1 year.
It's not just that it's one and done. It's that they're becoming sort of mini NBA teams.
Yes.
And that's like watching AAA baseball. If you really want to watch the most skilled people perform the sport, you watch the NBA. There was something about college basketball that drew you to it because these were kids struggling. They were younger. They were learning over time. They were connected to an institution. That has disappeared as the draft.
It's also, I think, about the competitiveness where you have the underdogs in the early rounds of the tournament, the Davids who slay the Goliaths in the tournament. Once you get to this stage, it's all Goliath. I mean,
but you know what baseball says? You want to skip college and go right to the pros? God bless you. But if you're going to college, you got to be there for 3 years. And I think at least that would create some kind of an identity that you get somewhat invested. And first of all, the colleges have themselves to blame here. Mm-hmm. I mean, they change conferences, it seems, with the season. You don't even know who's playing who anymore. There's no regionalism to it. I just think it's a shame because you look forward to this time of year, but at the same time, I think it's a real shame. All right, now, this may be a little inside baseball for those of us not just in the media, but who know some of the players, but nonetheless, it's a great story. Jeremy Lin, we all know Linsanity, you get the drill. All of a sudden, the Knicks became relevant, at least for a while this season. Well, the point guard's going to have to wait until at least some point of the playoffs at the earliest, and more likely not till next year before he's going to be back on the court because of a knee injury. Well, Lin said he's been playing with pain for a while, but the swelling was manageable. Well, that didn't last as long. Now it's discovered that he's not going to be able to actually get out there because the injury was worse. There is, however, questions, Andrew, as to when the injury was discovered. And if you believe the Daily News, and Frank Isolo, who covers the team, there may have been an attempt here by the team to kind of hide the injury so that they'd sell more playoff tickets. And as a consequence here, dupe the fans into buying, in effect, for a product that was going to be. Cablevision didn't take too likely to that, the owners of not just Madison Square Garden, but the Knicks.
Yeah, that's led to a war of words. Again, the Daily News is inferring that the Knicks did not release that information about Jeremy Lin's injury until season tickets had been sold. The response from Cablevision is that Mort Zuckerman, the
publisher of the Daily News,
has engaged in a campaign of intimidation and extortion to effect a merger between Newsday and the Daily News.
This is why I watch college basketball.
Hey, Dominic, though, with all joking aside, columnists and opinion guys like us, we can say whatever we want. But when you start to say that the publisher of one of the major dailies in New York, and the allegation was that, hey, they had lunch, I guess, at the Four Seasons, according to Dolan, and at the meeting, Zuckerman said, listen, you play ball with me, we merge our operations here in effect here, and the bad coverage of you and your teams will cease and desist. Because he didn't play ball with them, that's why they're putting out these stories. Now you get to the credibility of the paper here. This is a big story.
It's a big story, and it's one that should stay in private. It should not come full public view, but it has. These things happen, and so we move on.
Well, I don't know here. I don't know who, if anybody, Tom's going to have the guts to follow through the lawsuit on this, because then you got to open up the books, you got to show all the communication, and I'm not sure either side really wants that. But
I mean, do we really believe Dolan on anything? I mean, this is a guy. I mean, he gave us Isaiah Thomas. I mean, that as a Knicks fan is enough for the rest of my life. And the simple fact is, the thought that they were hiding the Lynn stuff in order to sell playoff tickets. If the five of us with the starting lineup for the Knicks in the playoffs, the Garden would be sold out. That's just a fact. We have been itching for playoff basketball for how many years? We got it last year, lost 2 home games. If we were the starting 5, the Garden would be sold out.
By the way, do you imagine with Brodsky and Tom, the chance that either one of them would pass? I mean, you got 2 black holes in the wings here. It's going up.
I wouldn't pass to Brodsky.
Right into our left.
He was a good basketball player, though, weren't you?
I played at Brandeis. I played on the
You were a good basketball player.
When Casey
Pataki
Jones
said
played.
you were a good basketball
You
player.
averaged 5 shots a minute, didn't you? No.
So would you pass the ball?
To who?
Yeah, see, there you go, right. You could have traced it back there.
Please.
Oh, good God. All right.
The real story, Brandeis has a basketball team?
Casey Jones.
Oh, no, what you have to
Casey
go
Jones was the coach, the first African-American coach at a predominantly
Is that true?
white institution. Absolutely.
And Richard tried to fight his hiring.
There you go.
The Celtics used to practice out there. I shared a locker room with Bill Russell and John Havlicek.
Wow.
And all they say hello, by the way.
Wow.
They said, remember me to Dominic.
Really?
No, really. It didn't have anything to do with
And
it.
Kuzi went to Holy Cross, right?
He did.
We're going to judge a break.
He was coaching
A
at
little
UBC
note
at the
here.
time.
Everybody believes that, well, we call it soccer, but football, as the rest of the world calls it, was never popular in America and never could be. Again, I'm dating myself, as Richard will love to jump in and say, but Giorgio Canaglia just passed away. And for those who remember him, Canaglia, Pele, Beckenbauer, I went to games at the old Giant Stadium where they were sold out, and these guys were rock stars in New York. So if you ever think, could soccer ever made it, it actually already did. And a sad passing for the Italian striker, and he was a global star, Giorgio Canaglia. He smoked, he drank, he hit Studio 54, and he scored a lot of goals
an athlete.
with way too short of shorts. And athletes, all right.